All right. Can everyone see my PowerPoint okay? Thumbs up, thumbs down. All right. Good. Just gonna wait just a little minute longer just to keep letting everyone from the waiting room in. Perfect. I'll just keep an eye on that waiting room. Hello to everyone. So happy to see you all here today. If you could please throw into the chat for me your name and your registry ID number so I can give you credit for showing up today for today's tiny training. Our tiny training today is on the Eisenhower matrix. We're going to learn the very first beginning block steps on time management systems. So happy to have everyone here. I will just start out today giving you a little bit of background about 0 to 5 Montana. Start here with 0 to 5 Montana is a statewide early childhood organization. We're focused on increasing access to early care and education. We believe in supporting and strengthening families, uplifting voices, empowering small businesses and communities. We're a nonpartisan organization that's focused on solutions that work towards a Montana dedicated to every child. And I just wanted to let you all know that there's two parts to 0 to 5. We have a policy side, and then we also have a program side. And I work on the program side. That program side of things is called Montana Child Care Business Connect. And at Montana Child Care Business Connect, we want your business to open. We want it to grow. We want it to sustain. So we want it to stay open over a long period of time. And then we want it to do what every business should do. We want it to thrive. We want you to earn a profit and to be in real business for yourself, earning a real income. Move to the next slide here. And so we believe that we can do that through this theory of change. And the theory of change that we have goes through interactive workshops. We believe in one-on-one technical assistance. We have community capacity building, peer business mentoring, and then we have web-based resources, and we have shared services to bring business best practices to you. All righty. Tiny trainings are micro learning sessions. They're on a variety of best practices to help your business run more efficiently. We offer these trainings in a series. We do it during nap time because we want you to be able to jump in and just have a quick micro burst, a pick me up, a refresh with your peers. Attendance to 4 of these trainings during the season is going to earn you 2 hours of ECP credits. And today's training is on the Eisenhower matrix. You can see our future trainings that are coming up here, and we're very excited about this series. If you know someone who can benefit from learning about time management systems and they didn't quite make the registration in time, just have them email me. I can get them inserted into the training at any time. So would love to have others join us for our trainings. All right. So we're going to start today talking about the Eisenhower matrix. But what I'd like to do first is to just have everyone throw into the chat what you think you spend most of your day doing. So where does most of your time go during your day? Is it going to the things you're hoping that it would go to, like caring for children? Or are you spending a lot of time putting out fires? Are you spending a lot of time on last minute emergencies and things like that? Interruptions is something that Christy put in there. I love it. If you all could please throw in the chat just a couple of things that are taking up and occupying your time during the day, I would love to see that. Dealing with parents is another one that I hear a lot. And that's a good one. Thank you, Shauna. Roxanne, childcare. I'm glad that that's what you're spending a good majority of your day doing. Oh my goodness, the never ending of answering emails. Michelle, I totally get it. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of caring for children, interacting with children. That's great. Creating contracts and forms and paperwork and office hours. These are all so true. Now, what I'd like you to do next is to sit and type into the chat really quickly why you wanted to become a childcare business owner. So, what was the thing that made you just, I have to be in childcare? This is what I want to do. Why did you choose to decide to become a childcare business owner? I'm going to read a couple more of the things that are occupying other people's times while you're doing this. Cooking and caring for children is also something that a lot of you guys are spending time on. Putting out little fires, I totally get that one too. Mary, you put in there that the reason you got into childcare is to be with your own child. And this is a very common practice that we hear, is that a lot of people are doing this because they want to be with their own children. And so they decide that this is a way that they can earn money and stay with their kids. Yeah. Roxanne, I love that. The love of small children. I've got family dynamics here. I like that one too. Shauna, I love children and they fill my happy cup. That's a great answer. I love it. That's a great reason to be in it. Michelle's passionate about children, how they're treated. She wants to have her own child with her, even while making an income. That's a really, really common reason and a great and admirable reason. Christy put in there, I couldn't find childcare and hated my current job. I hear this one a lot too. So why not be your own boss, right? And then you loved it. So here you are 18 years later. And I love hearing that story. That's great. A lot of to be with my own children, wanted to spend more time with my family. Caring and raising children is one of the most important things we can do. I totally agree. My tagline, Alisa, is that children are not a distraction from more important work, but they are the most important work. And I do believe that. Well, one of the things that I want to start with you guys to talk about is that we're going to start this series of time management, because a lot of people get into childcare for the love of children. And that's a fantastic thing. But when we talk about where we're spending most of our time during the day, we go back to the beginning of that list. You guys are putting out little fires, you're handling parents, you're taking care of handbooks and training guides and doing business things. And all of those are so important to running a really good, high professional business. And I encourage you to do all of those things. But what we find is that a lot of childcare providers aren't able to spend the time during the day doing the things that matter the most, that are filling that happiness cup, like I read from one of those comments. And it's a lot to do with time management. And where and how we can find more time for you is really kind of the point of this series. So we're going to start the series on the Eisenhower matrix, because the Eisenhower matrix is truly the foundation of so many other time management systems. This matrix comes from Stephen Covey, our friend that wrote The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He adapted and popularized the Eisenhower matrix. And I'm going to talk to you about where that came from in just a minute. But Covey isn't the only person who uses this Eisenhower matrix in their systems as well. So the Franklin Covey planning system uses this. That's a daily planning system rooted in Stephen Covey's work. It includes prioritization techniques that use the 4 quadrants of the Eisenhower matrix. There's also time management for leaders, and that's by Michael Hyatt. And that's his productivity framework, which includes the Eisenhower matrix as a part of identifying those high leverage and avoiding that drift urgency. And so that's another one. Bullet journal method. While it's not built around the matrix, many bullet journal users incorporate the Eisenhower matrix as a prioritization layout on their monthly or weekly spreads. Getting results from the Agile way, so using the Agile method, which uses a combination of weekly outcomes and daily prioritization strategies, often referring to the Eisenhower matrix to decide what you're going to tackle first. And then Essentialism by Greg McKeown emphasizes prioritizing what really matters. And this really focuses on that aligning with quadrant 2 thinking. And we're going to go over what these quadrants are, so don't be worried about that. While the matrix isn't always pictured in the mindset, is deeply aligned with it. So it's a good thing to think about. The 1-3-5 rule, which we're going to learn on a upcoming training, that system we can use the Eisenhower matrix a lot when we're working in the number 1 and the number 3 section of that type of a time management system. Time blocking, which is a calendar-based system, it can integrate the Eisenhower matrix when we're deciding which blocks of time should be reserved for quadrant 2 planning and skill building in your deep work. And then the getting things done method also uses this Eisenhower matrix. And so I just want you guys to know that there's a lot of time management systems out there that stem from and start with this matrix. And so it's a really good one for you to be aware of. So Dwight D. Eisenhower was known for saying that he has 2 kinds of problems, the urgent and the important. And it's typical that the urgent are not important and the important are just never urgent. And this quote came from Eisenhower, but Stephen Covey actually made the quote popular in his book, and he has formalized it to make it be something that you guys can hear about. Covey formalized this philosophy into a 2x2 grid that helps users separate tasks. We separate them by urgency and importance. And this is going to help you support better focus and be more intentional in the time that you use. So let's talk first about urgent tasks. And urgent tasks require like your immediate attention. There's something that you cannot ignore. They're usually a time-sensitive task, but urgent tasks often are those things that take up time during our day, but they're not necessarily the things that are filling our happiness tank, right? They're not the things that allow us to go to work and be happy about what we're doing every day. These projects are the ones that we want. Those happiness filling projects are the ones that make us have a reason to get out of bed and to go to work every day. Urgent tasks usually take us away from those things that we want to do. Important tasks are the ones that contribute to your basic business successes. They're the tasks that help you reach your goals. They help you work within your values. They help you strive towards your mission. Why are you in business? And all of you kind of put in that chat today about why you're here and why you want to be a part of childcare and the childcare system. I'm pretty positive that none of you in those chats said that you joined childcare so you could answer emails, field parent questions, I'm positive no one put in there that they did it because they want to change diapers or manage a budget. But it can feel like you do these things all day long and that you never really get to work towards the stuff that you're in business for, which is supporting the growth and the development of little ones. So when we're looking at the Eisenhower matrix, we really want to think about urgency and importance because there's a big difference between the two. Can I just have a raise of hands? How many people on or a shout out in the chat feel like they work in urgent all day long? I'm really interested in that thumbs up or whatever it is, because when I'm working with childcare providers, one thing that I'm positive is that I hear people talking constantly about working in that urgent space. Get to this part. I got the for sure, the yep, yep, yes. And that urgent space is a real space, but it's not where you guys want to live. And I'm going to share with you guys a little bit about why living in that urgent space can be really detrimental to you. We're going to get you out of that quadrant. Today, we're going to go over each of those 4 quadrants. Chances are that you're likely spending most of your time in quadrants 1 and quadrants 3. But at the end of the day, you're exhausted because you spent your whole day in those urgent spaces. And you're then at the end of the day going to gravitate towards that quadrant 4 space, which is kind of the time wasting space, but it's also the place where you're the most comfortable to recharge. And what happens when you do this is that most people, and this is true about across any industry, but it's very relevant for childcare as well, most people never get to that quadrant 2 space, which is where we actually are going to encourage you to spend the majority of your time to fill your happiness cup and to be a successful business owner. All righty, so let's go over quadrant 1, which is that blue section of those 4 quadrants. Quadrant 1 is the do section. It's both urgent and important. These are tasks that require immediate action and they have significant consequences if you ignore them. Okay, so in the Eisenhower matrix, urgent and important tasks are those that require immediate attention. They're critical to the health and safety of the people that you're taking care of. They're critical to the smooth operation of your business. Here's some examples of urgent and important tasks for a child care provider. Responding to child's injuries or illnesses, providing first aid, calling parents, documenting an incident, addressing a major behavior issue, handling a licensing inspector or an unannounced visitor, communicating with parents about serious concerns like health issues, behavior concerns, or custody situations, dealing with a building emergency like a fire alarm, a power outage, plumbing issues. Covering for an unexpected staff absence is something that I hear childcare providers talking about all the time, and it's constantly taking them from their quadrant 2 activities. Notifying families about urgent closures, securing the premises in case of an unexpected threat, submitting mandatory reports, preparing necessary materials for last-minute critical events. What to do with these tasks? These are tasks that usually are something that you got to do. You just got to do what you got to do. So you want to do them immediately, quickly, and the minute you see a due task, get it done and get it off your plate ASAP so that you can move on to other activities. Okay, so we're going to move to quadrant 3. Oh, I'm so sorry, you guys, sorry. Quadrant 3 is so that area that's urgent but not important, okay? Sorry. In the Eisenhower matrix, the urgent but not important tasks are things that demand your immediate attention, but don't necessarily help you achieve your long-term goals. These are often interruptions, distractions, tasks that are not important that other people around you might be able to help you do. Here are some examples of urgent but not important tasks. This is where you can answer non-essential emails or phone calls, especially ones that could have waited or been delegated. These are those last minute meeting invites, requests from colleagues, social media notifications, fixing minor technical issues that could have been delegated, handling other people's emergencies. I think a lot of times as leaders, we feel like we have to solve everyone's problems instead of empower our people to handle their own issues. Signing documents, scheduling and rescheduling meetings, dealing with interruptions like coworkers dropping by to chit chat or non-work issues. This is where that administrative busy work with looming deadlines like reports really hang out. What do you do with these tasks? Ideally, if you can, you should delegate these tasks to someone else. If it's a possible, so this doesn't derail you from where you're trying to get things accomplished. Okay, quadrant 2 is not urgent, but very important. And this is the quadrant that we really hope most people get to hang out in. This is the best place to live so that you can be feeling fulfilled, so that you can be getting to your mission, vision, statements, so that you can be doing the things for the reasons that you joined childcare as a profession in its own. In the Eisenhower matrix, important but not urgent tasks for childcare providers are those that are significantly impact the quality of care and the success of the program, and it supports your long-term goals. They don't need to be done immediately, but these are the tasks where real growth and improvement and quality happen. Here are some examples of the important but not urgent tasks that childcare providers have. This is where you guys are going to spend your time planning your weekly curriculum, attending professional development, supporting professional development of your staff, building relationships with families that last past their child being a part of your program, organizing a deep cleaning of classrooms. This is where you can create those emergency plans, your employee handbooks, your parent handbooks. This is where you can update children's portfolios, schedule regular staff meetings so your staff feels supported and you're creating employee retention. This is where you can be reviewing program policies, and this is where you can be strategically budgeting for future needs. What do you do with these types of tasks? This is where you schedule. Schedule time to do them. They are high value activities that make real differences, but must be planned intentionally to avoid being pushed off to the side. Because these tasks are not urgent, but they are important, a lot of times we think, oh, we can do that later. How many of you have a list of someday in my program, I'll get to that? I'm interested in the chat. Definitely. It is something that we do often, and we get things. Christy, did you have a question? You can come off mute and ask your question. Oh, you just raised your hand. Awesome. Yeah, that's great. All righty. Good job. So then the last quadrant that I want to talk about is quadrant 4. Now, in quadrant 1, where I said that it was that fire, you have to do those things, the blue quadrant. A lot of times in that quadrant, people end up getting burnt out because they live there. They're taking care of the urgent and the important. And if you're constantly in that quadrant, you are going to get burnt out so fast. but it does create a cycle. If you're hanging out in that quadrant one, when you're done with those quadrant one tasks, you're so exhausted. You don't want to move to quadrant two. You want to go straight to quadrant four. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what quadrant four is. Quadrant four tasks are not urgent and not important. But here's the deal about quadrant four tasks. For a child care provider, these are the activities that neither require emergency attention nor contribute to the meaningful development of your goals. But we as child care providers spend a lot of time here. Here are some examples of quadrant four things. Social media scrolling, chatting excessively with coworkers. This one is huge. Over decorating bulletin boards far beyond what's needed or what parents expect. Rearranging the classroom repeatedly to keep making it cute. Spending too much time picking a font for a newsletter. Getting caught up on gossip. Shopping online. Watching videos. Reading articles. Overanalyzing small projects. Playing games or using apps on your phone or tablet. Now, we do all these things naturally within our brain because we're naturally equipped to want to move to these things that create a dopamine hit for you. These are an instant dopamine hit for you. So when you're burnt out in quadrant one and quadrant three, you skip two and go straight to quadrant four because often quadrant four is where the activities are that give you reprieve, that dopamine hit. What we want to do is to retrain our brains so that those quadrant two activities are the activities that are giving you that dopamine hit. So remembering that loving on the kids is where your dopamine hit comes from, all those other things, and we want to eliminate as much as possible. I never expect anyone to eliminate all these things, but as much as possible, think about your quadrant four as those tasks that you're trying to get away from. I just want to remind everyone that we have tons of templates and tools out there that you can use to learn how to use the Eisenhower matrix in a more in-depth system. We have some recommended books here. I also have a sheet that's going to have links to it that I will email to everyone who was on the training today. So you can see all the different Eisenhower matrix systems and things that we have for you out here. I do want to highlight, though, a couple of great apps that you can download if you like this matrix. These are some great apps that you can use, and the links will also be in that flyer that I am going to download for you guys. I want to pause here and just see if there's any questions that I can answer for the group. Okay. Next time on the tiny training will be May 15th, and we're going to talk about time blocking. Time blocking is a way that you can schedule your day in chunks for specific tasks. So today we talked about that quadrant two thing. Well, next week we're going to learn how to block your time so you can work in quadrant two on an ongoing basis. This is going to teach you how to design your ideal day at work, how to focus on that quadrant two tasks. And this time management system is going to help you to prevent from switching tasks. So if you have a focus issue, you're going to like time blocking, and this will help us dig a little bit deeper from the Eisenhower matrix. Okay, so I just want to encourage everyone here. If you have questions, I'm going to stay on. I can answer more questions, and I'm happy to do that. And I encourage everyone to please join us on our socials and to take a snap of that QR code so you can stay connected to us. And then last, but this is the most important, I just beg of you to please take a photo of this QR code real quick, snap it, and answer our quick survey. We want to know how we're doing. And these surveys are important for us, and they're really important for the work that we do. It helps us understand your takeaways from what you learned. It helps us create our next training series. And if you have any suggestions for us for future trainings, please add it in the comments. It's really important to us. Please let me know how I did today as well. It helps me in what we're going to do in the future. And I am going to stay on and answer any questions for anyone. And I just want to thank everyone for their time today. And I will see you all on the 15th. Thanks, guys.
Hi there, this is Cindy Winkley, and hi, hey, I'm having a technical issue. I see where it says Zoom meeting on my phone, and when I was going out of the chat, that's where it did this to me. I don't know what to push to get back into the regular room where we were. I don't.
Oh, well,